Greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. Thank you so much for joining me here again on this beautiful day, a lovely space, a calm one. Like I feel worse than I did before, like at least in the morning. I woke up this morning feeling pretty good, went and had some water, had really cool chats with Christian's dad, something that I actually want to share in today's stream. And then we came back home. We basically had a chat with a friend. I went for like a midday nap, and waking up from the midday nap now has me feeling like I'm being dragged. So please do bear with me. Maybe I should set an intention that's going to help me pull myself out of that. Maybe. Hey, it's Cable. Thank you for the love. It's been a while indeed, my friend. How have you been, Cable? How's life been treating you? Has it been fair? Is the festival or the festivities rather bothering you, or are you appreciating it? Still enjoying your Thank you, man. I appreciate you so much. Maybe that's the one, actually. Cable, thank you for the intention. The intention is to smile. Every puff I take, every inhale, every swirly out breath, with the intention of smiling. Man, I feel tired, dude. I've been roaming so much. So many festivities and people, still recovering from my heartbreak. I can imagine, dude. Do you feel it's easier to recover from a heartbreak in an environment where there's so much going on? Like, would it cause you slash allow you to think of the heartbreak less because there's so much going on? Or do you feel you just want to spend those festivities with someone that you love, for example? Woo! Amber is the color of your energy. Oh, I'm not even sure if you're being serious right now, Toasty. I feel like amber, like kind of a low glow. I feel good. Super, super duper good. I just feel a little bit more calm. Maybe I'll be the slow stoner today. Instead of being just be like, okay, I'm gonna take it easy. I'm gonna have a break. I'm going to have some chats. Be nice and calm. Hopefully that's the energy that's coming today, Toasty. Our intention is to smile, dude. Just to smile. Have a good time. Remind each other that there is reasons to smile, And it maybe, I think it will tune into the stuff I want to talk about today. So I look forward to it, actually. Love you, Melty. Looking as handsome as ever today. Thank you, Harley. Thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate your love eternally. Thank you so much for joining me again. How are you doing, Harley? Like, I feel it's been a long time since we've had a chat again. Has things been developing a little bit more? Like, man, Harley has been through some stuff as well. Just with people's selfishness, Like, people's selfishness hurts so much, so many times, It happens over and over and over again. How do we help ourselves be less selfish? How do we allow ourselves to see the other person more fully? Because I believe if you really do, being selfish becomes exponentially harder. I feel, I don't know what the word is. It's like tired, but it's tired with a tinge of irritants. I guess that's what people call being hungover, right? God damn, the stream just randomly dropped. but not on our YouTube. Not that there's any friends here right now, but it did definitely drop on the main one. Let me fix it. Let me fix it quickly. It's so hot inside today as well. I don't think we'll ever really run a fan inside of the room. I just think it's gonna be so loud that it's gonna be unbearable. I just have to wet my pashmina really. I'm actually gonna do that right now. How about you, friend? How's things going with you? How's life been treating you? Do you have anything to share? Like one of the things I want to share today is again this kind of like mental map slash mind model way of seeing the world. I was talking to Christian's dad this morning about love, and basically like talking about love in its chemical form, being an oxytocin molecule, and how that affects us, how complicated it is as a molecule, and then the function it tries to serve is trying to give you the feeling of love, whatever that means. And then he kind of said something that I didn't really anticipate or expect from him at all. He said that love is, I think he used the word a manipulation, but it's a manipulation that you do to yourself. Like you manipulate yourself with like your way of thinking, with the stuff that you tell yourself into believing you need certain things or other things. For instance, like I kind of brought this example, I guess, to the conversation as well. As soon as I heard that, it's like if you have two people, one is a lumberjack, one is a conservationist, someone that's very into keeping nature the way that it is, keeping animals in their correct habitats, not cutting down an excess amount of trees, so on and so forth. Like they technically use the exact same word, they both call the thing they're looking at tree. Ooh. But one of them says the word tree with the intention of keeping it, seeing it as this beautiful force of life, source of life to many other things. And another person sees it as a source of life as well, but more in the context of, oh, I can cut this tree down and make it into something else. And it's not for me to say, not for any of us to say really, if one of them is evil or not, because it's just this perception. It's this mind map of what you think it is you're looking at. And this makes perfectly sense, right? From a perspective of knowing why it is we do that, or how it is we find ourselves looking at things in a way. But the part that I want to say doesn't make sense to me, the part that I'm trying to figure out mostly, is how do you communicate a mental map or a mind model to someone? Is it possible for us to help each other see the world more fully? Is it something we need to do? Even if we are able to, is it something we need to do? Is having both the perspectives of the person seeing all of the love and the beauty and the life in a tree just as necessary, just as valuable as the person that sees the furniture in that tree? Maybe if we can share each other's points of view, like actually directly or like with some little bit more clarity, both of us can be satisfied with the things that we see. We can be like, yeah, maybe the street can be furniture after it has spent time being a habitat, a source of carbon reduction, like roots aerating the soil. Maybe there's a balance that we can reach with it actually. Good morning to you, Sensane. Thank you for joining me, friend. Diamond Fingers, it's been a while. Thank you for joining us as well. It's the Matthias. It is the wholesome. Thank you, Matthias. I miss you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. Afternoon, evening. Technically, it's afternoon right now, going into evening, but I appreciate your morning nonetheless. It's insane. How are you doing, dude? Are you feeling? Always know, no matter how separate, you're a part of the divine whole. Oh, absolutely, Caleb. Couldn't agree more, my friend. Each and every single one of us are. You know, we're never separate. And I don't feel separate right now. I just feel slower within it, if that makes sense. And we're smoking a joint with the intention to smile. Smiling. Apparently, you know, if you literally just smile at someone, their brains release more serotonin, making them more likely to be like friendly towards you, like have less likelihood or reason to be hostile. And what's interesting is they did a study on men with, well, actually just a study on testosterone, and they had men with like high amounts of testosterone in their bodies and men with lower amounts of testosterone. And then they showed them like faces, some of them angry, some of them happy, some of them neutral. And what they found is of the higher amounts of testosterone you have in your body, I don't know if it's just testosterone or maybe the identification of being masculine, but they went hand in hand. Where neutral faces, you know, someone just being kind of like, oh, you know, I'm not really too happy, not really sad, not really angry, just they'll see that face as threatening slash aggressive, even though that's not the case. You know, even though there's no expression of any of those things on the other person's face, they will project it onto them. And I'm curious about that as well. You know, like is the reaction of smiling technically showing our teeth to someone else? You know, is it something we evolved evolutionarily to show another being we're okay? Like I don't know if smiles do anything else for other animals, but I do know eye contact does, for example. You know, there's an oxytocin feedback loop that happens with you and your dog if you look at each other as well. So technically we have the same thing with, I think, humans. You can also get into an oxytocin feedback loop if you look someone, you know, directly in the eyes. But I wonder, is is that, you know, too much for the average person? Like just, you know, staring into another person's eyes is not exactly something everybody does lightly, especially not someone who considers themselves ultra masculine. So maybe we see smiling as a mediator for that. You know, it's still an eye contact thing, but the eye contact is limited to like a glance and then into a smile, right? If you make eye contact randomly with someone, just smile at them. You know, it costs you nothing, and it is something that makes both parties feel a little bit better because of this literal neuronal pathway release system what we have. You actually release the feel goods. I'm thinking from it again from this point of like a mental map. You know, like how do you convince someone to do that regularly, right? Smile at another individual with the intent of making them feel better. Maybe you can like create the entire system, you know, like a game almost. If you can visualize it to people, maybe they'll understand it more. Maybe through understanding it more, they will have more of an incentive to do so. I don't really want to say that. It's kind of the idea I have for the book I'm writing right now. So, like, I'm asking this question from the perspective of, is this something you think would help? You know, I call it the divinity meter. If you hit more points, you fall higher on the divinity meter, if that makes any sense. And the closer you fall on this divinity meter, the better life experience you can hope to have. Even if only that better life experience is the life experience of people around you, you know, others. You don't have to necessarily have a better life, but I genuinely believe the closer you get to divinity, the more important other people's happiness becomes to you. And it's not a subservient type of other people's happiness. It's an understanding that in the way that you carry yourself, you can bring happiness to people. Like, instead of in the way you carry yourself, only trying to bring happiness to yourself, it's this switch, this shift of perception as to why it is you're doing things. And it helps. It really does. Petere, thank you for the wholesome, my friend. I appreciate that. Choo choo blue afternoon to you. I appreciate you. Oh, that's a purry joint. Thank you so much, Toasty. Like, I was actually thinking about you while rolling it. You know, thinking about the fact that you friends, I don't want to say I have a hard time rolling your own joints, but now I'm aware, dude. I'm like, huh, am I doing something that's not normally easy? You know, I believe a lot of my ability to do this at this point is just like muscle memory. You know, the fact that our bodies can develop muscle memory for something like putting things in a little tube, keeping it in the tube, rolling the tube into something that you can actually light up and smoke. You know, smoking in itself is something that fascinates me. Just because of how efficient it is. You know, like, we are pretty aware that smoking in general isn't the best. You know, smoking cigarettes is significantly worse than smoking a joint. Especially on top of the fact that you don't smoke joints one after another, after another, after another, as you do with cigarettes. But our bodies are extremely good at absorbing things from the smoke we inhale. Not only are we good at it, but the smoke literally travels 1,400 miles, you know, 1,400 miles of airways that it travels to in your lungs. That's bonkers, you know, so much surface area and space dedicated to, you know, the absorption of oxygen, obviously. And then it can kind of double as this ability to get something so well delivered into your system. Like, the point I'm trying to get at, or like the question I'm asking, I guess, is why, you know? Like, smoking arise because human beings had this ability. Like, there was something, you know, some person at some point started smoking things and realized that you could experience things by smoking them. And it's crazy to me. It's so crazy to me. Like, it's something I feel we don't really discuss. You know, we breathe in literal microscopic particles of things with some dust, like charcoal debris, you know, the rest of the smoke. And because of that, it literally falls on the lining, your literal single cell thick lining of your lungs, and then passes that barrier. And then your blood is like, woo, 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 let's take this stuff all over the body, especially the brain. We have endocannabinoid systems, you know, when it comes to smoking weed, for example, that regulate different things as well in our bodies. You know, for instance, like diet or, you know, metabolism, appetite. So you smoke this thing, and it literally presses buttons of, you know, oh, you're hungry inside of your body. And it's something that you accept. You're like, yep, I am hungry. I can go eat something. And the thing is as well, you know, what I'm thinking about right now, there are some things that you would want to smoke and some things that you really don't want to smoke. You know, for the same reason that I was just mentioning how it's cool that weed works, is also the same reason that things can become very addictive. You know, cigarettes, the biggest thing with cigarettes, again, is just the frequency. You know, like me and Christian were smoking cigarettes last night. Those small, skinny cigarettes, but I probably smoked like 7 of them or something. And it was this, you know, repetition thing. It was like a process that you go through, and then at the end of the process, you're, you know, looking to start the whole process over again. Where with a joint, like, for example, now, I'm putting this thing down. Like, it needs to be used to be away from me for a second before I go back to it. Where with a cigarette, that's not the case. So it's so much easier, to continue smoking. And I feel, that's one of the plants that has that effect. It's like, we as humanity try to figure out, what thing do you have to do a lot of, and you have to do it consistently, which means you have to buy it consistently, and also it has addictive properties. And alcohol and cigarettes basically fall directly under that line. Addictive, and you have to do a lot of. And it was a fun time. Last night we had an amazing time. Me and Christian had amazing chats. It was really nice meeting Christian's dad. He loves me as well, as much as I love him, and it was a very stressful experience. My best friend is taking me to his dad's place. I have to make the best impression I possibly can, and I won't say I made the best impression I possibly can, but it was a very natural and loving experience between us as well. He had me call him dad by the end of the weekend. It was like, if Christian is your brother, you are a son. And I'm like, okay, I agree. And then if I would say sir or uncle, he would be like, dad. And it was such an amazing experience. I felt so loved. And I had this openness to love myself as well. And in that way, it was an amazing experience. But I feel that this is something my body is paying for in a way where I usually don't pay for. Like it's taking a toll. And I wouldn't say that weed has no toll either. I believe it also comes with its own caveats. But I feel they're less prolonged. Maybe that would be the word. And it's also a toxicity thing. Like people would say that if you, drink consecutively, consistently, it has almost like a psychedelic effect on you. PB, actually, like I was listening to PB talk about that, the PBGB here on RPAN, where he was like, yeah, if you drink consecutively and consistently, it really starts to mess with your mind. And it's, something that if you're selling alcohol, that's exactly what you want. It's like if you run a casino, you want people addicted to gambling. It's a little bit hectic. I miss the day's intention. It's smile when it rains. It is smile. Yeah. I was like thinking, did I smile a lot? Did I have reasons to smile? I was like, yeah, actually. It's been pretty nice. How about you? How's your day been? Do you have plans for your Sunday actually? He intends to spit facts. So say thank you, my friend. I'm feeling into this stuff with you right now, man. Like the thing I'm thinking about right now is the drive slash us stopping at like supermarkets or having someone stop next to you. I tend to be looking like to my left and outwards, and then you'll make eye contact, or someone will stop next to you, and just like smiling and just like acknowledging existence is something that people always respond to. And it's this remembrance. Hello to you, Nova. Thank you for joining us. It's this remembrance that, oh yeah, I am one, and also this person can see I am, and it's a beautiful experience. You have 777 subscribers right now. You know what's weird, Nova? It's been like that for maybe 2 months now. It's just been 777, dude. And it clicks up a bit, clicks down a bit, clicks up a bit, then it goes like through higher numbers, 777, lower numbers, 777, higher numbers. And it's a very cool experience, my friend. I'm taking it as a message every single time I see it. Thank you for noticing. Maybe take it as a message as well, if you did. Well, 77 is an angelic number. It really is, Nova. I agree completely, friend. But I have a feeling that my efforts to turn my yard into more food and lawn helps it. Ooh, that's beautiful actually when it rains. That's beautiful. I'm outside, bundled in a blanket, enjoying the burp calls and packing a bowl. Ooh, thank you for letting me live vicariously through you as well. The burp noises, dude. I do miss the burp noises as well. That sounds like an amazing experience, Thirsty. Thank you, my friend, for joining us. I'm still sick, so I'm gonna go make hot liquid juice out of leaves. Do you drink chicken soup? Apparently, chicken soup helps, dude. I think it's actually a T cell stimulation type of thing. Try it. I hope you get better as soon as insane. Have you had any time to yourself recently? Don't forget to recharge. I don't really think so, actually. Here's the definition. Please do give it to me, Nova. I haven't had that much, time for myself, interesting Josie, but and I was thinking about that as well, on today's car ride. Like since since Christian has been like super active. We already have plans for next weekend. The weekend after that has plans on it as well. So I believe it is going to be pretty socially taxing, but I mean that's okay as well. Maybe it's something I can use to get good. This is the angelic definition of 777 that our friend Nova is sharing with us. It's a sign of getting divine guidance. It indicates it's time to get rewards for your efforts. Angel number 777 indicates the path following your guardian angels. I like chicken soup. It's good and it makes my throat feel better when I'm sick. I think so as well. I've had the same experience, Nova. Thank you for sharing with us, my friend. Thank you for joining us on this path of guardians, keepers of light, warriors of peace. I appreciate you sharing with us. Is that pot? Did you know it's illegal? What are you doing, friend? You will go to hell. So the pot is illegal, and I go to hell at the same time. Am I going to hell because it's illegal in your mind? That's the only question I have for you. Illegal planted goodness. Blue. I have a friendship with another mom and kids in the neighborhood, which is based mostly on smiles and eye contact. Their daughter walks close to us some days. Her mom doesn't walk her home. That's beautiful when it rains. And as you're saying, it's an acknowledgement, existing, of being there in the space together. And I genuinely believe as well, if the time ever arises where you have to have a conversation, there would be so much rapport just in, eye contact shared. That level of information is being communicated just by sharing eye contact and a nod of the head. It's an understanding, a fundamental understanding of like, oh, I see you, I respect you, and I don't have to come and tell you directly for you to know that. And then if you have to come into the direct contact, that base level rapport has been already established. Do you, dude, enjoy. Thank you, Hyper. I hope you do the same, my friend. But if pot is a plant and God made plants and everybody, then why does it exist if it's so bad and God made it? I agree completely, Nova. My perspective is if you believe in a creator, an all-loving, all-making God, then technically He made these plants for us as well. And I don't believe any of them are bad. I just think you have to be responsible with the way you use them. And I mean, there's so many of them. That's the thing as well. If God didn't want human beings, to take substances, why did He put so many of them in so many plants? There's like, I think hundreds of active, like psychoactive compounds within plants found all over the world. Yeah, and human beings really like doing it as well. The drug that comes from sugarcane is sugar. The drug that comes from coffee is caffeine. It is, still you using a plant as a means to get to this space, if you will. Psychedelics especially. Yeah, like I think the biggest thing, with psychedelics is the word psychedelic means mind manifesting. It opens you up to new ways of seeing the world. But at the same time, it dissolves, melts away, if you will, everything you've held as true for the rest of your life. Every piece of propaganda that has been forced into your head, any like inconceivable reason for making certain things in the way that they are. Every social bias that that's expected of you basically falls away, and you kind of look at the world from this perspective of beingness, like true beingness. At least this is what I've experienced. And that, fundamentally is something that's dangerous to like a political system. Like, instead of believing what we're told, instead of believing to be scared of things, it's instead of like just literally active brainwashing, we start to make decisions for ourselves. We start to see the person more. We don't go to war because we're like, I have to go and kill more of myself, you know, in their country. No, I'm not gonna do that. Oh, you want me to work my entire life in a corporation? No, I'm sure you won't do that. And right now it's happening to us, and we have to do it. But also, it's this like pressure that's being built. It's the whole let them eat cake thing happening all over again. How do you feel about reaching the end of the year for streaming? I'm not going to stop, Nova. That's basically the experience I'm feeling. Like, the reaching of the end of the year is something that I'm looking forward to. Not in a way that I'm like, oh, can't wait for the year to be over. Just but about like the intention that was set and then completely carried through, and then being able to go, on from that and continue. Like, this has been an experience that I would never have been able to make up. The amount of perspective you friends have given me, the amount of love you have shared with me, and I've tried to share with you as well. It's something that absolutely staggers me. The more I think about it, the more I'm baffled by it. I love you, friends, so much. You sharing the space means so much to me. Oh, hold on, let me finish the toad sandwich. Someone had to try to eat a toad before they figured out one lick sent you to outer space. Hold on, let me finish my toad. Someone had to eat fermenting food to realize they could make booze. So the most likely approach, if you will, or understanding of how booze came about is we were storing psychedelics in honey for the longest time to try and keep them, for extended periods of time. And what started happening is we started transitioning to this more meat culture because we were using more and more honey with this product that was, very psychoactive. And then we were storing it for long periods of time. And then during those long periods of time we stored it for, the honey started to ferment if there was any water present. And that basically led to us finding, oh, there's this new other thing. It tastes kind of spicy, kind of wacky, not exactly right, but still kind of fun. And we started making it intentionally. Like, the funny part is as well, a lot of the cultures that have been making ales, at the first like opening of the whole understanding of how to make ale, they would use the same stick over and over again. And they believed this stick was like imbued with some sort of magic powers, but it was just yeast, like getting caught in all of the little cracks of the stick. And then every single time they stirred a huge batch of like water and honey and maybe like some berries, it got like fermented again. They put yeast in it. And it's this weird process of us basically figuring out how to do these things. And we do them in excess, It's technology technically, well, like, we literally figured out how to give ourselves psychoactive experiences. The thing is, nature has given us better ones. Ones that have a significantly different point of action and also has benefits. A lot of benefits. Plans are organizing inside for the winter. It sounds amazing. The Crippler! Thank you for joining us again, my friend. All is well with me. I hope it's well with you as well. Yeah, it's pretty weird about reaching the end of the year. It is pretty weird, but it's pretty cool as well. Like, I feel it is, in a way, like a symptom of humanity's, how do I say this, resistance to itself, resistance to living in a way that is going to be beneficial to the self. And I wonder if the high sugar, high alcohol, high carcinogen, let's call it, type of lifestyle we're living right now is out of convenience, or if it's a a symptom of literally planetary depression. And like it feels like there's more and more evidence for the planetary depression type of perspective. If people are depressed in a society, it's like symptoms popping up of a society that is not functioning properly. Some people just tend to be more sensitive than others, feel it more than others, get deeper drawn into it than others, that try and live just on a more base level of that understanding. I tried DXM before. I woke up feeling like I was dying and being reborn, almost like my body was sliding into my body repeatedly, and my whole body felt warm, weird stuff. That sounds like a pretty interesting experience. Technically, that is I think a way of thinking about it as well. There's this constant awareness being poured into our being, and we get to experience that awareness through this is a filter, a medium almost. I have no idea what any of their voices sound like. Thank you for the helpful Toasty, bruh. I'm well done right now. Thank you, Toasty. Man, I'm feeling pretty blazed, dude. I don't know about you. I hope that bowl like treated you well, man. Dude, best thing about working in a food place is the only good thing. The only good thing is that I can learn how to make myself my own food. Just made Biggie's, my place of employment's famous ham and cheese bagel at home. Yes, Lele. That sounds freaking sick, man. I think it would be very popular, just in general with friends and potential romance partners if you can cook for yourself as well, dude. Like being able to cook a meal for someone is always something that's appreciated. I need to make Christian some lasagna at some point. Maybe I'll do it next weekend. We have some friends coming over, so maybe we can serve them some lasagna. Hey, Nancy, thank you for the maps.org. I'm happy that you actually saw what I was meaning. Mind maps can change the way we perceive the world. I wonder why other people are so sensitive, and then there are others that are just on such a terrible low energy. People, I also wonder where I fit in that category. Nova, I believe we constantly choose. I feel it's a choice and it's also a little bit conditional sometimes. Like you'll be feeling in a certain way. And this is a conversation me and my friend had, like me and Christian had, where we were talking about this feeling of depression, this feeling of, loneliness. It's just this kind of like gloomy feeling that we get sometimes. And technically feeling something is a bodily response. Like the emotional responses we have is very much a bodily one. It's like because of these flushes of neurochemicals that go over our body and causes us to move, causes us to literally have a good time, if you will. And fundamentally, we're not that. We just got really associated with that. It became our most reliable filter or medium to kind of experience things through. So when we feel depressed, that feeling becomes reality because it's like undeniable, because I'm feeling this thing. I'm feeling this thing, and I'm also not supposed to be feeling this thing because of all of these good things. So then there's a guilt based on it, and then you feel guilty about something that you can't help, and then you feel bad about that, and you feel it so viscerally, and that's why I believe like it's so easy to try and like self-diagnose yourself with depression, because that loop becomes your reality. It becomes the thing you so viscerally feel, like you feel love for another person as well, but it's not the fundamental truth. You're still the awareness, aware of the feeling underlying all of it. And if you can realize that, it sometimes, at least it has helped me. It takes a little bit of urgency off of my belief of, these are my feelings, this is my absolute reality. Like I can slow that down a little bit. I can look at it more objectively with like a an observer, vast mind type of perspective, I guess. Overall, if you zoom out, humans are doing okay. I mean, I agree with you, on a material level, humans are doing okay. But if you zoom out and you have all of the data attached to that, you see how the climate has changed, you see the amount of toxic particles there are in the air, toxic particles there are potentially in our oceans. In that way, humans aren't doing as well as we can. And I think that's what we're trying to change. It's like you're feeling it, but you try and carry on just saying it to yourself, it's fine, but at times the feeling becomes so undeniable that you can't ignore it anymore. Exactly. Exactly that, friend. It becomes, again, just a reality. You become convinced with it. And I think one of the biggest parts about, pretending it doesn't exist, I believe depression is a symptom of something, being done wrong, or, not having experiences that is serving you fundamentally. And then you have a feeling, like an intuition, almost a bodily intuition that something needs to change. You need to start doing something that's going to be counteractive to these feelings you're having. But if you pretend like you're not feeling them, if you pretend they don't exist, then it becomes an instant, like, oh, there's nothing I can do about this, and then you don't do anything about this, and it becomes again, it's like getting caught under the wheels. Red, thank you for waking day here with me. It's so nice to have you here. Oh, lasagna. I'm happy that you're also a fan of lasagna. MAPS is a psychedelic solution organization. I know, Nancy. They are doing some good work. I hope, especially now, I mean, it's been happening. We actually get some proper data, some proper science being done with psychedelics, and just finally putting a nail in the coffin of, oh, psychedelics are demonized, and then actually showing all of the medical benefits, especially, for anti-depression and anti-addiction properties that it has just for that. It can potentially change the lives of so many. Daylight savings! Finally, you're back to my 9 a.m. times. I'm so happy to hear that, Dan. Hopefully, we'll see you a little bit more than my friend. I think maybe so. It becomes a lingering sort of pain that looms over you. You just feel it. And I agree with you what you're saying. It feels like a black hole. It really can. And you feel like you're like staring into it slash falling into it constantly. You're like, oh, I'm getting closer and closer to this thing. I have to keep trying to run away from this thing. And it can be anxiety inducing in that way. That's why depression and anxiety can go hand in hand so much. Shroom showed me the horror of human ecological destruction. Yeah, it's trying to reach out to it. The plants are talking to us. We need to listen. It's intimidating, like just, I sound like a crazy person saying that even. But there definitely is a nature intelligence happening all around us. We are the intelligence of nature as well happening right now. And yet nature figured out different ways, creates thousands of different plant species that contain chemicals. That if you take these chemicals, information is conveyed to you. That's trippy, and again, it's this, the fact that we can smoke stuff and that information is conveyed to us. It's weird. It's so weird, and we don't talk about it. Like, yeah. That's just how it is. What? What do you mean? What do you mean that's how it is? That's just not normal. Actually, me and my friends were talking about how, like, if there was a super advanced alien species, it could literally kind of just brush past something and then take all of the energy it needs, doesn't have to kill the thing, just take some of the energy it needs and then allows the thing to like restore itself, to watch us, put food in our faces and like mash it up and then have to swallow it, and then going through a whole process. It would be horrified by watching a human being just being a human. And we consider ourselves the most beautiful things on this planet already as is. We consider ourselves the pinnacle of what it can be when we're a part of it. Literally we're fundamentally a part of nature, just as we are, you know, we have not fundamentally just a part of nature, but we have nature as our base, you know. And I wonder, like, and this is something that interests me as well, just with the amount of information that plants can communicate. Is there a divine aspect in plants even? You know, like a spirit being expressed through plants? I like, after what I know now, I wouldn't say no. Like, I wouldn't say they don't have spirit. I think it would be extremely difficult to prove something like that. But, you know, like, think about the Avatar movies. That was happening. And technically it is happening. Trees connect to the other trees around them through mycelium networks. Literally little pieces of mycelium growing from roots into a mass, into different roots, and then trees being able to communicate information back and forth between themselves, becoming like a tree internet all around you. And then they're like, man, these humans are fucking shit up. We need to communicate this thing to them, this thing, whatever they want. And it produces compounds that communicate stuff to you that you would never fathom. But you do. You would never make up, but you understand it. You would never see it, but upon seeing it, you recognize it. You know? And then it's like, again, oh, this is just something that happens. It's just something you can do. Plants communicating with you. Oh shoot, that's why it's early? I didn't even realize it was daylight savings. Lane is just up so early, dude. Doesn't get bothered just popping in to say what's up. Gonna do some morning gaming with the homies. Ooh, enjoy your day, y'all. Love you people. Love you, Dan. That sounds amazing, my friend. I hope you have a good time. And this is why I feel so tired. Yeah, boy. Hi to you, King Co. It's been a long time. Thank you for joining us again. I'm on shrooms. I feel you so much. Yeah, designer. Yeah, friend. This is how it is, right? This is the experience we keep having. And as soon as you have that experience and you recognize it, we have this intention of wanting to share that as well. Like, it's a message you receive, and then the message can be as well, you know, let others see this message. And it's almost like that fundamentally is something that's scary to people. Like, if anything is an alien on our planet, it would be psychedelic mushrooms, for example. And technically, these things can literally have spores on a piece of rock. A meteor can hit our planet, eject some of that rock out into space. That freaking rock can fly through space, hit something else, if it has the favorable environments to do so, grow into that environment, and literally transfer psychedelic mushrooms from planet to planet. And if you were to like convey information in the smallest unit possible, a single spore is exactly that, you know, extreme amounts of information, something minuscule, literally microscopic. And it does billions, trillions of spores. It's being like, yes, go and share information. And then it just so happens to have figured out exactly, oh, I mean, down to an extra phosphate group, exactly a serotonin molecule, the molecule through which information is mediated in our conscious experiences. It's like, yep, we press this button. Mushrooms, dude. I hope you're having a good time, friend. What is normal? I don't know, friend. I've been told that I'm not. And I feel like the more I hear it, the more I take it as a compliment. Staring into a black hole reminds me of a song by Railhazer, Mass of 1,000 Suns. Ooh. You know, it trips me out. Like, I don't know why this is the first place my mind goes, but there are stars out there that is like a mass of 1,000,000 suns, even more. Like, our sun is like a little little speckle in the scale of what a star can look like and the size of the star can be. It does burn out a lot quicker when it's that large. You know, in that way, our sun is kind of nice because it has a little bit longer shelf life, if you will. But the universal scale, you know, if you find yourself getting too involved in your problems or your neuroses, like as your friends have said as well, just zoom out. Just imagine yourself on planet Earth. Like looking at planet Earth and imagining yourself somewhere on there. Then imagining yourself somewhere in the solar system. Somewhere in the Milky Way. And the Milky Way being a small speck of somewhere in space. It makes you feel small, and yet that vastness is something you can recognize. You don't understand it perfectly, but there's a feeling associated to it. You know, looking at the stars at night has that kind of experience almost ingrained in it. You know, this is something you're looking at that is surreal, if you will. Good song. If a plant medicine doesn't have spirit, there is for sure plant energy. There we go. Plant medicine doesn't have the spirit. Yeah, I agree completely actually. And Nova says, I feel like normal is working every day from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and coming home and then eating and then just sleeping and then waking up and repeating, and that just sucks. Yep, that's the normal we're trying to be subdued to. And I say subdue kind of liberally, you know, it's like, this is what you want. Get pushed into it. No, I don't fucking want this. This is what you want. You know, sit down in your neat rows at school. This is what you want. You know, don't speak. You only have to listen to authority. You're just a empty vessel, which they have to pour things into. That's like the kind of image they give you at school. You know, shut the fuck up. You listen. You know, and no, don't go create. Don't think for yourself. You need to listen. And then I'm gonna make sure you listened well. I'm gonna test you on that shit. Did you listen? No? Fucking, you're shit at this, you know? You suck. You have no future in this. You know, because they know fundamentally what this is not a good thing. And it needs to change as well. Our school system is broken as it is. I don't want to do that and waste away. Like, there just seems so controlative, because then you can't pay your bills and rent, and if you don't do that, then you'll live with your parents for a long time. It's true, Nova. It's this like game, you know, that the entire world is choosing to participate in. We're like, yeah, this game kind of sucks, but maybe I can get to the top. maybe I can get to the top and have it better than everyone else. And a lot of people play that game, unfortunately. Or you could transport weed. Then there is a plant made of diamonds. No, that's not me. Ginkgo. There is a plant made of diamond. A planet? Oh, made of diamonds. Yeah, probably. Just another stoner white boy. Thank you for joining me, Merrick. You are so loved, my friend, and appreciated. Friends, I do think I'm going to say goodbye for today. This has been fun. I feel a little bit tired. Thank you so much for giving me the energy, like helping me smile. You know, the things we had a chat about today always bring some light to my heart. I hope that I could bring some light to yours as well. Have a fantastic day, friends. Wonderful Sunday. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye, YouTube friends. Nova. Oh, goodbye. Good luck with the rest of your day. Namaste. Thank you, Nova. I understand, my friend. Things are not the way we feel they're supposed to be. And I believe we'll see a change in our timelines. We have to keep believing and have to keep edging towards that, dude. We'll do it. Soon enough, we'll do it. Love you, friend.